Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wahoos Weekly on Blab TV, your weekly in-depth look at the Pensacola Blue Wahoos both on and off the field. I'm Eric Bramer, he's Charlie Hobart. The Blue Wahoos this week are at home against the Columbus Clingstones, AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. And Charlie, it's the first time we've said that, despite being in our division, Blue Wahoos haven't faced Columbus yet this year, so this is the first time we get a look at a team that will end up playing a whole lot here down the stretch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting look. Always the first go-around when you face a team is more difficult than the rest of the season. And with so much turnover here at the AA level, it's not exactly going to be coming up against the same guys you faced last year. So we'll see how it goes. I'm super excited, and no matter what happens this series, the further series down the stretch in the year, they're going to get a lot easier for Pensacola.
Because the Clingstones are an Atlanta Braves affiliate, we know we have a lot of Braves fans in this viewing area and in the Blue Wahoos fan base as well. Always a little bit more attention on the future of the Braves organization. Last year, Columbus didn't have a whole lot of future big league talent. They didn't have a whole lot of on-field success, but it seems like this year they have at least a little bit more exciting stuff going on than they did in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're doing really well in terms of hitting home runs and striking out. They don't do a lot of the striking out, offensively anyway, and they hit a lot of home runs. And that's kind of what the makeup of a lot of the offensive players, individual offensive players, has become. You either walk, you strike out, or you hit a home run. And they're doing that as a collective, as a team. It's interesting to see across an entire roster of 26, 27 guys, and it's working out okay for them thus far.
From the perspective of the Miami Marlins and their fans, the Atlanta Braves are in the same division, and we know year in, year out, the NL East is a very difficult division to contend in. But just going back a few years, you saw the Braves win a World Series. They had a young core locked in with Albies and Acuna, and you think, okay, on the position player front, they're set for the next decade. But unless you continue to bring up prospects through the minor league system, one injury, two injuries can really upset your plans. It seems like the Braves have been caught kind of flat-footed, not having that next wave of talent coming up.
Well, and not only injuries. I mean, yes, Ronald Acuna has had trouble staying on the field, but just baseball is so hard, Eric. And staying good is so difficult. We see the third baseman, Austin Riley, a few years ago, one of the top hitters in the game, one of the best third basemen in the game. He's not making the same impact as he once was. And then you go back a couple more years, the Braves had William Contreras as their backup catcher, but they had Sean Murphy as the starting catcher. So they thought, we don't need to try and hold on to William and pay him a bunch in the future. We're going to trade him away. And now all of a sudden, Sean Murphy, he's not the guy back there anymore, and William Contreras is an all-star in the Milwaukee organization. So you got to pay attention to that farm system, because no matter how good you are in that moment, and I'm sure the Braves fans and the organization will take the World Series champions, but it's not going to last all the time, which is why you always have to keep your eye on those single, double, and AAA affiliates.
Yeah, I think a lot of Braves fans a couple years ago would have earmarked a couple Cy Young Awards for Spencer Strider, but another guy who was expected to anchor that rotation, who's had trouble staying healthy and then coming back from those injuries. We have seen some pretty big names come through the Columbus Clingstones since they joined the Southern League, relocating from the Mississippi Braves in 2025. Last year, the Blue Wahoos actually got to face Craig Kimbrell, a future Hall of Famer, wearing the all-peach uniforms. You weren't here for it, but I can relay that it was a pretty fun atmosphere to be in year one of the Columbus Clingstones. The Blue Wahoos actually opened up Synovus Park, which was a renovated century-old Golden Park. We got to see it last year. Now we'll get to see it this year. It seems like they're doing a lot of things right in Columbus.
Absolutely, and like we talked about last week with the Chattanooga Lookouts, renovating that stadium is a big deal. It does a lot for the city. It does a great deal for the morale of the team and the coaches and the players, and getting some nicer facilities. And anytime that the big league club and MLB can show, hey, we care about you guys, we're looking out for you guys, it's such a huge boost to morale for all the guys on the squad.
And they're certainly set up for success. The Braves have all of their affiliates very close to Atlanta, with AAA Gwinnett, AA Columbus, got High A Rome, and Single A Augusta as well. So that is a very convenient thing for the Braves to have all their affiliates very close by. It makes rehabs easier, it makes roster moves easier, makes everything just a little bit more fun knowing that you've got Braves fans coming to AA Columbus Clingstones games.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I was talking with Ryan Ignoffo a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how he moved from Florida to Wisconsin to Florida to Wisconsin, and that's a lot of movement for one player to go through. I mean, Ignafo, he lets everything slide off his back. He's a very easygoing guy, but for some players, it's got to be difficult not only as a ball player, but as a person. You know, it's hard to relocate. Eric, I know you've relocated a number of times in your life, and it's a huge reset. So to be able to make those relocations such short proximity to the other, it's a big deal for your club.
Well, we'll be seeing the Columbus Clingstones plenty again down the stretch this year. We'll be making 2 trips to Columbus and Synovus Park. Blue Wahoos, in case you weren't aware, last year opened up that brand new stadium. Joe Mack had the first ever hit at Synovus Park. Nathan Martorella had the first ever home run. But when I say first ever, that means since renovation, because their claim to fame is that Golden Park once hosted the likes of Babe Ruth a century ago. So if you had a chance to dig into the batter's box, the same batter's box that Babe Ruth did 100 years ago, would you feel intimidated? Would you feel honored? Or would you just not really register it?
I think you got to soak it in a little bit, you know? You don't want to play too much into it if you're really hyping up, oh, this guy hit here, now I'm going to relax. Everybody's got to relax. I think just feeling baseball in that park and understanding how lucky you are to not only be playing the game, but to be standing in the same spot that some of the greatest Major League Baseball players, some of the greatest baseball players of all time got to stand. It's something you want to just take in, because we're not going to play this game for our entire lives. There comes an end to it all at a point. So just sitting in there and relishing the moments you have is really important.
I relish the opportunity to say Nathan Martorella and Babe Ruth in the same sentence. Our guest this week on Wahoos Weekly is Blue Wahoos manager Nelson Prada. I've known him for a little longer than you have, but you've been around this team now for the first month or so of the season. What does Nelson Prada do well as a manager to keep everyone on an even keel through the ups and downs of a long season?
I think it's just that, even keel. His highs aren't too high, his lows aren't too lows. He's a former player, as many managers are, and it's easy to kind of just get in the shoes of the guys that you have on the field and say, I get it. You know, it's hard, and you're going through a 0 for 20, or you're going for a 30 for 40, you know. I get the highs, I get the lows, but I'm not going to get too high or too low with those results. So I'm just here to kind of guide you through the season and help you out.
I've sent you down to deliver box scores to Nelson Prada a few times after the game. That's part of the duties of our department. Has he ever really leaned into you for a scoring change?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. We'll see if we can keep it that way. That must mean our official scorers are always doing a really, really good job here at Blue Wahoos Stadium. Before I take over the interview with Nelson Prada, is there anything you'd like to know as we get to know the Blue Wahoos manager more in depth than we ever have before?
Man, I mean, what does it mean to kind of be coming from Venezuela and be such a successful manager at any level of baseball? And also, on that note, the World Baseball Classic, did it mean anything else? Did it mean something extra watching, you know, what that country's kind of gone through for the past however many years, and watch not only the players on the field relish in it, but the people back in that country watch it and bring them just a glimmer of joy in such hard times, and to be able to come together and celebrate one common good and one common goal. Like, how does it feel coming from that place, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, Nelson Prada, a proud Venezuelan, and I can tell you that was a big deal to him to watch the World Baseball Classic go to Team Venezuela here a couple months ago. That will come up, as well as a few other things in the long and storied career of manager Nelson Prada when we come back here on Wahoos Weekly.
At A1 Automotive, we do it all kinds of repairs for all kinds of vehicles. We do AC repairs, we do suspensions, we do pre-purchase inspections. We'll diagnose your problem and get it fixed. Free brake inspection. We can provide financing for any work we do. Veteran-owned, military, and first responders discounts. A1 Automotive, 403 Beverly Parkway, Pensacola.
Gill Marine, your one-stop shop for all your boating needs. We offer a vast selection of parts, accessories, and electronics. Discover our range of used boats in every size, shape, and brand, all ready to get you on the water today. And we provide expert advice and top-notch customer service to ensure you have the best boating experience. We service all outboard, inboards, stern drives, jet drives, and personal watercraft. Our certified staff will get you back on the water. Visit Gill Marine at 3541 West Fairfield Drive, Pensacola.
Nestled in the heart of Pensacola, Dorothy's is a one-of-a-kind, community-driven cocktail bar by Oasis, Florida, created to sustain vital HIV and STI care across the Florida Panhandle. Inspired by the Wizard of Oz, rooted in inclusion and dripping with character, Dorothy's is a welcoming space with award-winning Oz-inspired cocktails, food by Steel Pony Diner, and an unmatched atmosphere. Join us 7 days a week in downtown Pensacola, located directly across from Maritime Park and the Blue Wahoos Stadium.
Empire Truck Sales, located at 2255 West Detroit Boulevard in Pensacola, is your Freightliner, Western Star, Detroit Diesel, and Cummins dealer for Northwest Florida. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Saturdays and Sundays, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., providing sales, service, and parts. Empire Truck Sales is also your Oasis dealer for Freightliner custom chassis RV and motorhome repairs. Running I-10 will get you in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wahoos Weekly. I'm Blue Wahoos broadcaster Eric Bramer, and our special guest today is the second-year manager of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, Nelson Prada. Nelly, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks you, Eric, to having me here. It's really good to talk to you and talk to the fans, and that way they can know something about the team.
Well, we talk pretty much every day, but this is the first time that we've gone in-depth on the record with you. So I want to start at the beginning. Take me through your upbringing in Venezuela, how you fell in love with the game of baseball.
Well, this started a little while ago, back in '95 when I started playing. I got signed by the Minnesota Twins in '95. The Cardenales de Lara in Venezuela, that was my team that I signed as, our team in Venezuela. Normally, when you sign a contract to play baseball in the United States, you sign a contract to play baseball in the Winter League. And that's how everything started. I was finished high school, playing baseball. I liked the game. And some organizations started to take a look at me, Houston Astros and the Twins. And then the Twins ended up, signing me in 1995.
So the Twins sign you, and you play a couple years professionally, but your career was derailed by kind of a freak accident, an injury. If you're comfortable, take me through how that happened and how you were able to deal with that.
Yeah. I played 4 years in minor leagues. I played rookie league for a couple of years, and then low A and high A. So I was in Venezuela during the winter league, and we young, we playing around with ice. I'm always being a guy that I don't like to play too much. I'm kind of serious, all my life. So they were throwing ice inside a room. I'd say quit throwing an ice because somebody might hurt, and they stopped throwing ice. So after that one, we left the room going to, to our room with my roomie to get ready for going to the stadium because the boss is leaving at 4 o'clock, something like that. So when we left the room, one of the guys, he continued to play around. So when we get down to the aisle, walking out, he showed some ice and we started running. So when we started running, he threw the ice to us, and I turned around, and he got a finger from championship, and that finger fell out from his finger. The ring fell out from his finger and hit right into my eye. So when I went to the eye doctor, I had the retina detached. I had a rupture in my choroid, and the doctor pretty much said this happened one in more than 1 million. So that happened to me.
So how do you move on from that and decide, you know what, even though I can't play the way I want to anymore, I still want to give my life to the game of baseball?
Yeah, after that happened, I went to the Twins Academy in Venezuela to work out because they don't release me. I just have to go to spring training now with that problem in my eye. So playing during the spring training, I was with the AA team, and then I don't really feel any good playing because the problem in my eyes is depth perception, so I don't see the deep on my vision is not really good. The good thing that happened is that happened in the middle, don't happen on the side, so my panoramic vision is really good. It's 100%. I can drive, I can walk, and I can live my life the way I did it. And after a month playing, don't feeling any good, I was battling with that one. And the last day of spring training, they called me to the office, and they say we're gonna release you because the problem you have in your eye, and this happened off season, so it's nothing that we can do anything for you. You out of contract when that happened, but we wanna hire you as a coach because we see your personality, the way you learn, in the past 4 years with us, our culture. So it's a lot of stuff that they thought at that time that they're gonna help me to be a good coach, and they offered me a job as a coach. So I'm waiting for a couple of days. They give me a couple of days to think about it. So I called my family, my dad, my mom. We talk about it, in family. I was ready to go, like college if I want to go because I finished my high school. But I told my dad, like I'm already in the game for 4 years. I don't think I'm going to be able to go back and go to school. So I think if I starting my career now, we can see what happened in a few years. And my dad told me something that is happening right now. He told me like, yeah, I mean, if you start your career as a coach now, 25, I think I was, 24, 25, see, your future in 20 years. You will be 45 years old with 20-year experience. So that might be something really good for you. And I'm here 25 years later with 50 and, having a good career, I think.
The they that you speak of when you were released and given that opportunity in the Twins organization, that was General Manager Terry Ryan and Assistant General Manager Bill Smith, and they stayed in your life as you went from a coach to a manager. What did they do for you in terms of helping you create your coaching career?
Yeah, that was those two guys and also Jim Rance.
Yeah.
That was another person, that was in the meeting. And they helped me a lot, like Jim, he gave me opportunity to manage. Him as a fund director, he's the one that take the decision, who's going to manage. So I'm going to start my career in Venezuela just as a coach my first year. And then Bill Smith, he was in charge of the overseas operation from the Twins. And he named me, 4 months later, he named me academy coordinator. He trusts in me. He gave me that opportunity to be a coordinator, coordinate an academy, budget, workouts, everything, because we don't have, like now, when you have an academy, you have 20, 30 people. That was only 4 coaches and a person that runs all the groceries and everything in the town. So, yeah, Bill, he was a big support for me. Terry was in charge, but I know Bill and Terry, they talk about it. So they gave me that opportunity to be coordinator. I coordinate for 4 years. I managed in the summer league for 3 years. And then, they give me a good surprise when they asked me to come to the state and manage, in the GCL and also be the extended, coordinator for 5 years. And that's how everything started.
You mentioned down in the complex, you weren't just the manager. You were in charge of a lot of other aspects of the players' lives and living conditions. That's still the case now as a AA manager. What about the job of minor league manager do a lot of fans not understand, just in terms of the breadth of the things that you're asked to do?
I mean, we have to do a lot. I think, after years, I understand the players that are sons. We have to take care of the players like our sons. We have to find the ways to make them comfortable, but also we got standards that they have to follow. So it's a little line in between let the guys do whatever they want and follow the standards. But that's something that I thought, in all my life is like I want to have a good group of players that want to play for me. I want them to give me the 100% when they go out. So you have to be, once again, a father. You have to be a coach. You have to be a friend. You have to be the person that, when you have to throw the hammer on them, you throw the hammer, but also you have to do it the right way because you don't want to disrespect anybody. And I think that creates respect and create, like confidence and all that. Maybe you can gain a lot from the players if you work in that way.
When you're a manager, you have to be a manager for all the players in the clubhouse. Here in Pensacola, it's a 28-man roster. And it's astounded me that it took so long for teams to realize that it probably is a good idea to have someone who can communicate effectively with all 28 guys. You are fully bilingual, being from Venezuela. How does that help you become the type of manager for all 28 that another manager might not be able to do?
Well, one thing that I like is, if I have 28 guys, 28 guys play. I don't gonna point anybody or any other manager or any other organization, but if you play for me and I have the goal, to play these guys at least 3 times a week, like I play everybody. I'm not afraid to play anybody. I think that's something that the players like, to play for me, because you can see other teams, in this league where they have guys with 10 at-bats, and pretty much that's what my guys take in 1 week, and we already played 3 weeks. So maybe the guys playing the less now, for say something, Forrester or Boyd, they already has more than 30 at-bats. When I see teams having 5 or see other team playing guys once a week. I don't know what's, the rules in the other team, but, like that is something that I like to do. I talk to the players clear. I tell them what's the expectations, because I don't like, me as a player, I don't like when I have to come to the stadium every day and see if I'm playing. Like if I told you you're going to play 3 times a week, you're going to play 3 times a week. If you're doing good, I might give you a 4 game. Like somebody plays 6 times a week. If you don't play hard, I might take that guy 1 game out and give the other guy that deserve play 1 more game, play 1 more game. So that's something that I think the guys understand, and they like it. I think it's fair. And, the opportunity is going to be there every time if you play for me.
You entered this season, your second in Pensacola, just shy of 800 career managerial wins. You're one of just a handful of managers from Venezuela to reach such heights and have such a long career in minor league baseball. What does that mean to you, in the hopes that by the time our viewers watch this, you will have reached that milestone?
I mean, it's great, My goal is, I hope, God give me life and time in the game, to reach the 1,000. Because 1,000 will be a good number for not only Venezuela, for a lot of, for any manager in the United States. But that's cool. Like I'm the number 6 right now Venezuelan manager with most wins. I'm chasing Luis Salazar. I think he was like 813, and then Carlos Subero, he's close to 900, and then we have the other ones that are passing the 1,000, like Alfredo Pedrique, Luis Dorantes, he used to be a former Marlin, and Omar Malaverde, he passed away with the Blue Jays a little while ago. But being, on top with those guys is a really, it's a pleasure. It's an honor, to stay in this game this long and reach those numbers.
Anyone who speaks with you can tell that you're very proud to be from Venezuela. You still go down there in the wintertime, and you coach on a staff down there. And it had to be very cool to see Team Venezuela win the World Baseball Classic Championship. You have another allegiance to a national team, the Spanish national team, because you manage them. But within the context of the WBC, how much did it mean to the nation of Venezuela to end up on top?
It means a lot. That's something that we think that should happen before, because we have really good club, we have really good talent in our country. Even when we don't win it in the past, we have teams with with Altuve, with Miggy, with all those guys, like Kim Felix, like Johan Santana. So you can name all the players that play in those classics from Venezuela, and we never made it to the finals. But I think that was a good achievement, for the team. During our situation in our country now, there is, a tough situation, a big, surprise, for us, a big happiness, for the country, and that was great, watching those games. I have the opportunity to watch 1 game, Venezuela Dominican, so we're losing, and then we start winning, so I stopped, going to the field anymore, because I was there the only game when they lost, but that was pretty cool.
You've managed in the Twins, Phillies, and now Marlins organizations. You've managed some pretty big names, including down in winter ball. But I know managers are oftentimes most proud of the players who aren't maybe the household names, but guys that they really had an impact in developing. Are there any guys that come to mind for you that you're really especially proud to have managed and helped them reach their full potential?
Yeah, I mean, I think, with the Twins, which is my longer time, Eddie Rosario, he was a guy that we have a lot of problem with him with conduct, like we have a lot of problem with him because he grew up in a tough part of Puerto Rico. And, I have him, I have Kenny Vargas, I have Miguel Sanoa at the same time. And And we know Miguel is going to make it. Eddie was a guy that they always talking to me about, making better. The Twin has something really good in their foundation. Even when the player is not a really good player on conduct or having problems, with any issues with, the way they play the game and all that, they always say, if the guy is a big leaguer, we have to change it, and I think we changed Eddie in a good ways. Wilson Ramos, he was a good guy, but he got a little problems, with the weight and all that. So he worked hard to don't get any, fatter and losing his career early. So Wilson, that was another guy that I managed, and he became really good too.
Before we go, I want to ask you quickly, because we talked about 20 minutes. We haven't even talked about this year's Blue Wahoos team. Why should our fans hold out hope that this team, after the slow start, can still play meaningful baseball here all season long?
Yeah, I mean, we've been better. Like I'm always talking to the guys. We start 0-5, and at this point, we're playing 500 after 0-5. So get better. That's what I'm expecting the guys. We continue to work. I know I talk to you sometimes. We might going to surprise some people because a lot of times, when you start slow, the people start to think about, the team has no chance and blah, blah, blah. But, the coaching staff doing a great job. They're working hard every day. We're talking to the guys once a week to make them better, talking about the good, the bads. And I think, having this meeting every week, we can see how we've been improving. We're going to continue to improve to do better.
Well, there's plenty of surprises in store for the Blue Wahoos throughout this year. Our thanks to manager Nelson Prada for joining us here on this episode of Wahoos Weekly, which you can watch Fridays at 5:30 on Blab TV and anytime on the Blue Wahoos YouTube channel. For Charlie Hobart, this is Eric Bramer. Thanks for watching.